Nigma's performance at Blast Slam 2 has been nothing short of shocking. They've taken down top teams like Falcons, Extreme Gaming, and Parivision. They didn't just beat Parivision in the groups, they eliminated them in the playoffs too, locking in a top 4 finish. I'll be honest, I didn't expect this from Nigma, and I'm sure a lot of you didn't either. Now the real question is, how is Nigma suddenly so good? The only thing that has changed in the team is Ghost replacing Miracle on the carry role. This has sparked a big question. Was Miracle the issue, or has Nigma actually improved as a team? In this video, I'll analyze whether Miracle was holding them back, or if Nigma has truly stepped up their game. It would be unfair to solely compare Miracle and Ghost's individual skills, as there are a lot of key factors in play here that could be equally important to understand. To keep the analysis as accurate as possible, I'll be covering different major aspects. Let's start with drafts, which is possibly the biggest factor. Let's not forget, the last series Nigma played with Miracle was a 3-1 win. For context, Nigma with Miracle lost 2-1 in the upper bracket final of the ESL qualifier to Chimera Esports, but beat them 3-1 in the grand finals. Since we're talking solely about drafts, Nigma's drafts in the series that they lost were quite bad, compared to the ones they had in the final. In Game 2 of the upper bracket final, Nigma's duo core, TA and Doom, are countered by the enemy Medusa. Invoker is a solution for the Medusa, but this puts them in a position where they have 4 ranged heroes. Once Medusa gets a BKB, well, it becomes pretty hard to take her down. Also considering the fact that she is going to have a free lane versus Doom when she has a Lich. Overall, the draft is mostly single target focused and lacks teamfight potential, while Chimera has a lot of AoE spells, which automatically makes their team fight much stronger. In Game 3 of the upper bracket final, they have the same issue again. Even though TA was first picked by Chimera, Nigma did not address that pick properly. In my opinion, none of these heroes are a problem for TA, and not to mention, they do not have enough catch for the Storm Spirit. Yes, they will buy Orchid on Lycan, but with Oracle behind the Storm, it is not enough. And again, the draft is very single target focused. They have some teamfight spells, but they are easily kiteable. Chimera stomped Nigma in this game, and rightly so. It is a major draft problem that doesn't offer teamfights, strong lanes, or counters to the enemy lineup. Coming back to the BO5 Grand Final, where Nigma beat Chimera 3-1, let's look at their drafts. In the first game, Nigma solved all of the issues that they had in their previous drafts. Mars, Ember, and Clock offer a lot of control, and combined with Gyrocopter, they have a proper team fight. Their lanes are very strong. Ember does well versus a Puck because of his high physical damage, and Gyrocopter plus Clock lanes well versus a weak lane like Nyx plus Nightstalker. The biggest part of Chimera's teamfight is the Nightstalker ult, but Chains, Arena, Clockwork's Hookshot, Track, and Homing Missile can easily control the Nightstalker and kill him. Nigma has a lot of control for the Puck. Overall, they have strong lanes, they counter the enemy heroes well, and they have good team fight. Nigma ended up stomping Chimera in Game 1. In the second game, none of Nigma's lanes are weak. They have team fight with the Egg, which also counters the Nightstalker's ult, giving a huge advantage to Nigma in team fights. None of the Chimera heroes are good at hitting the Egg either. Nigma's lineup also synergizes well with each other. The Venge plus Hoodwink duo lane provides a lot of physical damage, and later down the game, this Bristleback can always be swapped out by the Venge, which can potentially lead to a death ball. Nigma ends up convincingly winning this game as well. In the third game, Nigma's draft offers insane teamfighting capability with Shaker, Magnus, and Nightstalker, but their tricore is countered by this last pick Timbersaw. Chimera also has Phoenix this time around, which, as we've discussed, is good against Nightstalker's ult. Not to mention, Nigma does not exactly have the best ways to hit the Egg. Nigma's draft isn't super bad, but it's not as good as it was in the previous 2 games. Their lanes are weaker than Chimera's, and later down the line, their teamfight will get disrupted because of the Wolves and Phoenix ult, and the Timber has a free game. Nigma ended up losing this game, but it was a close game, which makes you think that they might be improving in terms of their gameplay as well. And it's not just about their drafts. I could talk more about drafts and whatnot, but from this point onward, if you look at Nigma's drafts in Blast as well, you will see that they've covered most of the weaknesses that they had in their drafts. It would make the video 2 hours longer if I tried to extensively cover every draft, which is not the point of this video. Now the real question is Nigma drafting similarly without Miracle in Blast? Yes, they are. Miracle has a big hero pool, and I don't think any of Nigma's drafts in Blast are adjusted towards Ghost and whatnot, so my conclusion for this part of the analysis is that Nigma has significantly improved their drafts, and this is not something you could say is a direct result of not playing with Miracle. Nigma's players are all individually skilled, but so are other players in other teams. And this is where drafts make a huge difference. If you do go and look at their drafts in Blast, you can compare them with the Grand Final against Chimera, and you'll see that they're drafting similarly and covering the problems that we've talked about in this video. Now, let's see if there's a difference in the way Nigma is playing Dota now compared to before with Miracle. This is the first game of Nigma versus Chimera in their 2-1 loss, and you can see that it's looking rough for Nigma. Mind you, Nigma won this game at the end. If you look at the net worth chart, the only one who has a game is Miracle. Nigma made some really bad mistakes at the start, which led to this point. You can see here that Nigma is smoked as 3 to fight at the mid lane. The fight starts in a really bad way, where Magnus gets disrupted, and as a result, Nigma gets baited into a bad fight. Chimera punishes them. Miracle also TPs to help the boys, but ends up feeding as well. So what is the problem here? This whole fight went wrong because of poor execution. Magnus couldn't go in and get a good RP at the start. Magnus was 200 gold away from his blink before the smoke play. Imagine if Nigma made this play when Magnus had his blink, would that not have turned out better? Not to mention, Chimera also has Dawn's ultimate, so it's hard to execute this play. Shortly after, Miracle gets his blink on TA to play active, and Smail also gets his blink. Suddenly, the execution becomes much easier, and they start coming back into the game. Nigma ended up winning this game later on, and that could not have been possible without the active style of gameplay from Miracle, since he was the only one with net worth in his team. In the second game, in this fight, Miracle and Smell jump on Medusa to try to kill her because they see that some of her teammates are showing at the mid lane. What happens is that Medusa ends up getting her Stone Gaze off, and as a result, Miracle ends up dying. The Medusa does die, but TA dying is very detrimental because she's on a timer, while the Medusa is not because of the matchup and draft. Now, you could say that Miracle is an idiot to blink in like that and die, but let's analyze this a little bit better. Nigma can see that Medusa is farming near a TA trap, and TA has her shard. If we look at Medusa's inventory, her Manta is on cooldown, so she cannot dispel the silence. This means that she should not be able to get her Stone Gaze off, and should be an easy kill. Now, why does that not happen? It's because Smail starts on the Medusa before she's on the trap, and then Medusa gets her Stone Gaze off. Another thing that could have happened here is that Miracle could have used another trap to do that, but what does this come down to? Poor execution yet again. The thing is, Nigma has been doing decently well with bad drafts. They fall short in games because it's harder to execute their draft, and of course, these small misplays happen as a result. Now, let's see the playstyle after they've improved their drafts in their 3-1 victory over Chimera. In game 1 of the 3-1 victory over Chimera, you can see here that Nigma is leading convincingly thanks to their strong lanes and draft. Now look at how easy it is to execute their spells. They end up winning this teamfight convincingly, and since their draft is better than Chimera at all stages of the game, this game becomes much easier. In game 2, you can see that Nigma is chilling waiting for their timers, which is mainly the Ags on Bristleback and Vengeful Spirit. They aren't forcing any fight, like they did with that Magnus Blink issue we talked about earlier. After Bristle gets his Oghanims, the first thing they do is make an aggressive play on the enemy's top tower, because they have all the things required to win team fights. After that, they keep playing aggressively on the map with this timer with proper execution. The Nigma that we were watching before was not doing this. They were not in sync. This is completely different, and this is with Miracle. Now let's look at how they're doing with Ghost. Is anything different or unique? In this game versus Parivision, you can see that Shaker is close to his Blink Dagger and nothing much is happening. Ghost and GH are waiting for the power rune and then posture towards it. Not only did they secure the rune for Smail, but they also got a kill on Dazzle. After killing Dazzle, they understand that the enemy is probably not going to fight them, so they take the mid tower as well. Look at how cleanly this was executed and what it led to. After this, Shaker got his blink, which is their timer to smoke and reveal it. So Io and Gyro went back to top while Shaker smoked with Bounty towards top to kill the Enigma. Enigma read the smoke and TP'd out, but then Nigma saw Parivision in their vision, so Smail TP'd back to mid and landed a pretty good Echo Slam. This was followed up by Io and Gyro with Relocate, and the rest of the team joined as well. Perfectly executed yet again and completely in sync with each other. Ghost and GH end up dying to the black hole anyway, but they killed 4 heroes from this play. Now, would these plays not be possible with Miracle? I highly doubt it. Nigma as a whole is looking impressive. Their drafts have improved, their synergy has improved, and they play like a unit. Whereas before, they looked confused and all of their executions were poor. I see a lot of people saying that without Miracle, Nigma is looking solid, but they're all forgetting that Nigma's last series with Miracle was a 3-1 victory in the qualifier final against a tier 1.5 stack. It is unfair to say that Nigma is better off without Miracle when Miracle literally won his last series and qualified for a LAN. A single player is rarely ever a problem in a team. Dyrachyo looked like the worst player in Gaiman, and most people, including me, thought that he was holding the team back. But guess what? He got kicked, and now he's winning lands with another team while Gaiman has been struggling. Ghost has no doubt performed really well, but in my opinion, every player in Nigma has been performing amazingly. Kuroki is probably the MVP for me, as the improvements in drafts and ideas are one of the main reasons behind Nigma's improvements. With that said, I highly believe that Nigma with Miracle will probably perform at a higher level than they did with Ghost if they keep playing as they are, and might even be able to win some lands. This whole video might seem like I'm a Miracle glazer, but it is what it is. This was obviously a very short video for such a vast topic, so if you have any more feedback or reasoning as to how Miracle is indeed the problem, I would really love to know that in the comments. If you want to reach Immortal or climb beyond Immortal, I offer coaching packages that will help you improve significantly. As they have for other students, I've introduced a new package that guarantees Immortal in 6 months or a full refund. If you're someone who is very serious about improving and wants results fast, this is the package you want. I will only be taking in one student for now. If you're interested, you can either join my Discord, which is linked in the description, or visit my website at PainDota.com. Other than that, do check Dota Academy if you're looking to join a Dota-related community that offers insane value for the price. I hope you enjoyed the video, and it was helpful.